Hi, welcome to the Bullshit Aftershow for September 19th, 2022. So wait, is the podcast starting? Yep, that was before that. Muted mic. Thank you, Maple. If she doesn't look at chat anymore, that is a problem. I don't during the podcast. I only do in the after show or just before the podcast starts. Yeah. The reason why, okay, so I'll reiterate this because I've said this a couple times before, but I haven't reiterated this as much as I've had on other things about the podcast. The reason why I never look at chat during the podcast is because the last thing I want to do, and I know this sounds like almost not inclusive, but this is kind of what the after show like right now is for. I don't want to read something in chat and then have that spark another 20-minute conversation when we're trying to keep it to around an hour.
Even though we went like...
That's what this is for. Now we can talk... Yeah, now that it's the after show, we can talk for however long. We can talk for the next fucking 2 hours about shit if we want to. It doesn't matter. But the podcast itself, the main podcast where I have the Forza gameplay in the background and the big bullshit podcasts on the screen, that needs to stay about an hour, as close to an hour as I can make it. So yeah. Works, yay. Glad I know the guest and was able to fix the issue. True. Good Maple. Sounds bad, but that was like a well done. Yes, thank you, Lim, for the raid. But yeah, no. So this was something that I wanted to add on when you said about the whole also for the mainstream as well. Hey, look, I have a new desktop wallpaper. I kind of made that myself. I say kind of because I
can't see it.
What do you mean? On the stream. Yeah, on my on the Discord stream. No,
I couldn't even see it on the on your stream. I got your stream up.
What do you mean? It's up right now.
See that, or it's frozen for me.
Yeah, it either froze, homie. It either froze for you, or like you're on some crazy delay.
Some crazy delay. That's some bad delay. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I kind of made this myself. I say that because obviously I didn't draw Rukia myself, and I didn't make the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War logo myself, but I did put them together myself. So
I'm surprised Rukia is not some uwu pose.
Nah. That's reserved for profile pictures sometimes. Because it's funny to me. Hentai ahegaos are funny to me. They just are. They're just funny to me for some reason. But yeah. So talking about like the government being involved with stuff, right? Something that I don't understand when or how this started. When do you think did the trend of it's really tough because it's military grade, like when do you think that fucking started? Because like every single veteran in real life and like every single combat veteran influencer that I've ever met is like, yeah, I don't understand that. Military stuff is ass. It's just like the bare minimum, the cheapest you can mass produce it. Why do people think that this is like an achievement of ingenuity?
You know, most military grade equipment is made by the lowest or the highest bidder.
Yeah.
So when they bid on something, they're bidding on what they can make at the cheapest possible price they can afford. So you're getting you're supposed to, what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get high grade stuff. I'm sorry, I spoke backwards on that one. So it's whoever can make the equipment at the lowest price.
Yeah.
So it's whatever's gonna cost the U.S. government the least amount of money to buy. So military equipment is always like made by the lowest bidder.
Yeah, which
so I don't understand the whole it's military grade. No,
yeah, like you know, you'll see like
it's better than what military has.
Yeah, you'll see like those ads for like the new tactical military grade survival flashlight.
Yeah,
and it's like
break it after I turn it on like 3 times, right?
Yeah. So what you're telling me is I'm gonna drop it on the ground and the bulb's gonna shatter. Like,
it's gonna explode on me at some point because it got too hot or something. Yeah,
yeah, it's like, that's just funny to me. So when you said about like the U.S. government involvement, I could just imagine Elon sitting somewhere looking at like rocket parts and like the thing says like new military grade rocket alloy, and it's like, you know, some like
no, I'm gonna make it myself.
He's like, nope, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. For Elon, like that whole situation is like I said during the podcast. It's when the U.S. government gets involved in something, there is a ridiculous amount of red tape, and
Well,
people have to check for things.
That, yeah, that. Like, I'm not trying to like, say that you're wrong necessarily, but for me, I think another like huge factor is NASA. It's a job. You're being like, I don't know if conscripted is the right word. You're working for the U.S. government to do it as a job. Elon, as evident by his past relationships, has a passion for this.
Yep, he gives two fucks about anything.
He actually like really gives a shit. It's not just a job to him. So that's how he's able to, make such drastic advancements. It's kind of the same thing where it's like, if you have two movies, let's just say you have one movie script and there's two different teams that are making the same exact movie. If the one team is doing it as a job and they're just like the lowest possible paid employees that you could get, like essentially like the Chinese sweatshop worker equivalent for movie production.
Right.
But then you actually have like an in-house movie team that actually wrote the script and really care about it, that movie is going to come out faster and better than the paid one's going to be.
Yep.
Because people actually gave a shit about the project they were working on.
Yeah, it's definitely motivational. Like the motivation is a huge factor. If you're motivated to do something, you're gonna do it faster, better, good, more accurate than anybody else who's just, this is my job, I have to do it kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, that's why I hate work. I always say to people that me doing like streams and like editing videos and stuff is work, because it is like, I put that in my head because it's what I want to do as a career, but it's not work. It's not like the same vein as like getting up, getting in a vehicle, and then going somewhere to do manual labor. It's not the same at all. I actually enjoy doing this shit.
Yeah.
Whereas
So, like,
working at a grocery store, I didn't enjoy that shit.
Yes, like the best quote I've heard is, if you do something you love as a job, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
So that's, just go out, find out what makes you happy, do that.
And I am pretty much doing what I have been doing what makes me happy. The only issue is my parents care, but my parents care significantly less because I'm not earning a lot of money. So it's like,
it's a grind. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of effort.
Mm-hmm. And that's why that's also why I'm glad that I have good people around me as well. Like, my only complaint about my friends, and it's not my friends, like, I'm not complaining like, yeah, Shadow, you fucking idiot, why don't you do this for me? It's not like that. It's more like, it's a me thing, right? I wish I had more friends that also created content in the same vein that I like to create content.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to have friends. It's
backup kind of thing.
Yeah, it's different to have friends that stream versus a friend that is a streamer. There is a difference.
Yeah.
Like Lim, thank you so much for the raid. I fucking love you. But you're a friend that streams, right? First, he's more of a friend that is a streamer kind of thing. He does it kind of more frequently. I'm assuming he does it kind of more as a hobby as well, but it seems like he has an interest in, if it becomes a career, he's interested in that too, right? Like, that's why I cherish my friend Teddy's friendship so much, my friend Warhawk, is because he wants to be a streamer too. Like, obviously he's gone off to the Air Force now, but like, he also wants to be a streamer at some point. So he's kind of more dedicated into it, and he takes it a lot more seriously than some of the people that I know that just occasionally stream take it. So it's, and I'm just using streaming as an example, really any content creation, making videos too, like all that shit. It's like, it's different to have, and that's in no means me also asking anybody who's my friend and listening to this to become a streamer. I'm not asking that either. Do what you want to do. I'm not trying to tell people what to do or limit what people want to do. It's just nice to have friends that are actually streamers, and my primary way of knowing them is just because we both like streaming.
Right.
And we want to do it, you know, as our, like, thing.
Yeah. It's like streaming now is definitely more about networking and less about...
and it's crazy.
I mean, it's also consistency, but the networking is, like, the primary thing that gets people to where they want to be in streaming.
Yeah. It's crazy how the online influencer scope works, because, like, I remember, do you remember before beaches and hot tubs category, when IRL was kind of starting to take off on Twitch? And
kind of, but
YouTube...
I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, and YouTube gaming became a big thing. Not gaming on YouTube, but YouTube launched its own, like, sub thing called YouTube Gaming, right? Yeah. And that was meant to be, like, their Twitch. And that was meant to be their streaming support system. Not, like, their, like, customer support or their user support, but, like, support system in terms of, like, that was the framework that would be YouTube streaming, right? And everyone was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be ass. It'll never be as good as Twitch, you know, yada yada, so on and so forth. You know how many videos I see titled with thumbnails, and, like, how many big content creators, even Twitch streamers recently, are like, yeah, I feel like the future of streaming is gonna be on YouTube again. Like, there's a lot of people who genuinely think that, because it's not that Twitch is necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just... Twitch is saturated now, man. It's been oversaturated, and it's getting worse and worse, especially since the pandemic. So it's like, well, not worse and worse. Like, there's been more of an audience when the pandemic, like, that's good. But I mean, more and more people are like, well, fuck, I need money. Let me try streaming video games. Because these people, you know, do it. I can do it and be successful at it. It doesn't seem that hard. Newsflash, it is very hard.
Yeah.
But just in ways that you're not expecting. A lot of times when people see video games, like, oh, it's not that hard, they're thinking, like, they're comparing that to their manual labor job. No, it's very hard. You know the strength and muscles, like physical muscle you need for manual labor? You need that equivalent strength, but in your brain muscle. for this kind of shit.
Sit down and stare at a screen for 8 hours a day and talk to people who might not even be there.
Yeah, and especially in my case, I've had definitely an extreme uphill battle with specifically streaming. I've never seen video creation, like YouTube content, very hard for me, because I'm always passionate about something to do with some video game at some point, and I can always create content. But I found streaming early on to be very hard, because I was in this mentality of, why the fuck am I streaming this to a service that it's not even gonna save as content later? Like, if I'm streaming and that number is 0, why am I even doing it when I could be putting this energy into a video that will be up forever and people can revisit at any time?
Right.
And that was hard for a while, and then luckily I've had some people over the years, some who are still with me now, some who aren't, who kind of stuck it out and became regulars for a while, and that kind of helped, you know, get rid of the stigma of, like, now to me, if that number is 1, like if that, like the thing that always would kill me was just the viewer count being 0. That is the worst, when the viewer count actually hits 0.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
When it is even when it is at a 1, that to me is still like, okay, yeah, now it's worth doing this, because even if that person has the stream on mute in the background, there still might be a few times where they'll unmute it and come check in. And those are my moments to hook them and get them to keep watching, so that's why you just have to keep chugging and keep acting like people are watching you even when you have 1, because there's that chance that that one person is still actively watching. Or will be actively watching, or will pop in to see what you're doing, and then you have to, like, hook them with that, you know?
Yeah, maybe that one person is the one person that has those, you know, couple hundred, maybe 1,000 followers on their own channel.
Exactly. So it's like you kind of gotta. But man, the 0 is bad, and knowing that fucking tears my heart out when I have friends who stream, because, dude, I have gotten into this. Honestly, it's kind of a toxic mentality of, I feel like I'm always working, even when I'm just being a vegetable watching YouTube videos. That still feels like work to me, but it's because I'm watching content that I like, and it's essentially just my own personal time entertainment. But I'm still ingesting content and flipping it on its head and going, this is an interesting video idea. I wonder if I could do something like that.
Right.
So it's almost like research in a way of like, what kind of content do I want to make? And so it just kind of all feels like work still. And luckily I love this, so that's not an issue. But like, that's also why I feel like I'm always constantly very busy. And when I'm busy, I don't have time to watch my friends' streams. So when you are live or Lim is live, I feel bad because it's either overlapping with my schedule or I'm just not at a moment where I can stay and watch. And I feel bad because in some way, I feel like some of you guys, I'm not saying for fact, like, haha, Shadow, I know you look up to me, you big goof. But like, at some points, I feel like maybe me streaming or one of my friends thinking about how I approach streaming might inspire them to stream, and then I know for a fact that there's no better feeling in the world than the person who inspired you to do something seeing what you're doing.
It's in your stream, interacting with you.
And like, I understand that I'm no XQC, no fucking Flo McNasty, you know, whoever you guys watch, but
You're a Grand Pooh Bear.
if you watch my stream or you know that, you know, oh, Sky's been grinding streaming recently, that's fucking awesome, it makes me want to stream, and then you start streaming and I join, I feel like that's a feel-good moment because I was the one that inspired you to, you know, do that. And if I'm,
definitely.
but I feel bad because I always feel like I'm working and, you know, and then I don't have the time. Like, I'm not saying that I'm never in your streams. I can guarantee you guys, I'm in your streams more than you realize. It's just, I'll have it as background noise, or I'll have to put it on mute because I'm doing something else, like editing a video, or I'm watching another video that I'm fascinated in to think, okay, maybe I could use this as content, or I'm just watching because, you know, like, I'm very observant, and I what's the word I'm looking for? I absorb visual and auditory content into skills. Like, this is gonna sound like the nerdiest fucking, you know, katana wielding neckbeard shit ever. But there was a time, and there are times, I have learned legitimate things from just watching fiction. Like, yes, it is Arma, and yes, it's a video game, but do you know how much real-world military shit I have learned by watching people do Arma Milsim content? Because yes, it's a video game, but a lot of the tactics are still the same. Like, yes, it's modified slightly for a video game, but when you...
within the lines of a video game, but...
Yeah,
I mean,
but like the base fundamentals are still there. Like, when I went through, like... So I watched a lot of Jester814, who plays with the 15th MEU, which is an Arma Milsim unit. I learned a lot from watching those videos, to the point where then when I joined an Arma Milsim unit, I already had everything from the Milsim unit's basic training down pat. Like, because I'd watched the videos, I picked up on his mannerisms and the way he played, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's just like that video, and it makes logical sense, right? And then some very basic forms of that translate into the real world, specifically with CQB. Like clearing rooms and shit. Yes, the method of doing it is slightly off because Arma is a video game, but the basic premises of first guy goes in, goes one direction, second guy goes in another, goes the other direction, the next guy comes in, picks a different direction to look at, and you all hit it really fast so that you clear a room. That basic fundamental from Arma and real life military is still there. Like, I still learned it, I still understand it. Like, when I watch real life martial arts people react to like something as simple as Metal Gear Solid 5 CQC, right? It's like, I learn a basic, like, bare minimum, no experience at all, obviously, but I understand a basic bare minimum of combat, like hand-to-hand combat, from watching that, because I listen to what the experts say. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I've learned about fucking weapon checks, making sure you have defensive hands, you know, shit like that. Like, I've learned about that different, like, you know, stuff about fighting from that. Does that mean I'm gonna be an expert and I'm an expert fighter? Fuck no, that's some neckbeard shit. But I've learned about it.
Yeah. Like, knowledge and practice are two completely different things. You can have you can have one without the other. And
but having the knowledge will help when you eventually do practice, make it go easier.
Yeah, like I said, having one without the other isn't gonna do you any good. Like,
granted, they were just airsoft, but I remember there was one time where I used to have a friend back in high school who had a very vast airsoft replica gun collection, meaning they were like actual metal airsoft guns, like were like replicas of the real stuff that were converted to airsoft, right? I would walk in and be like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is, you know, the Steyr AUG. This is really awesome. I loved his AUG. His AUG was so cool. And I'm just casually taking out the magazine, putting it in, charging it, all that shit. And he's just like, how do you know how to do all that? And I'm like, I'm a nerd, dude. Like, I learn about guns all the time. Like, it sounds funny and it sounds like a joke, but it's serious. Like, there are some video games or stuff that, like, teach you about guns and, like, you can...
accurate and how to and charge and,
Like, again, I know my way around a fucking M4 platform now because having never even held a real one, I know my way around it because of the media I've ingested and what I've learned in my own time about it, just from the knowledge. I had me and my mom's friend, my mom had a friend named Chuck. Bless this man's heart, I feel so bad for him. He recently, I think, got diagnosed with cancer, sadly. But he's a military vet who, I don't want to overshare, and if this somehow ends up reaching him, I don't want to piss him off. But he was part of a motorcycle club, he was in the military, and he unfortunately was a POW. And so he got subjected to some pretty, you know, crazy shit that really fucked him up. And there was one night where he was visiting and we were just talking about guns just casually. And after talking with him for a while, he said, you know what? Anytime, if I ever get into a position where I ever get in touch with some of my old shooting pals and you ever want to go shooting, let me know. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you.
It'll be the time of your life. You'll have a lot
of fun. Well, and he said this to me. He said, I'm not going to lie to you. I am less hesitant to put a gun in your hands than I am people who actually go to shooting ranges and shoot right now. Because, yes, you don't have the physical practice, but you know, because through us talking, you know, I was talking to him about, like, gun safety and, like, you know, all the stuff that I know, and he's like, you literally have the fundamentals of gun safety down, and judging by what you've told me, you have the basic fundamentals of weapons down already. Like, yeah, you don't have, like, the reflexes necessarily, you haven't physically done it yet, but there are a lot of people that I see go to fucking gun ranges who are absolute idiots. Flagging their friends left and right, like they have gun safety, but they're not being smart about it. Just hearing me talk, he was like, yeah, I know you would be fine.
Yeah.
And I would trust you more with some other idiots.
Yeah, some of the shit I've seen at public ranges when I take my pistol out to go shoot and keep up with it and whatnot, it's just some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. I've literally seen a guy with a loaded gun in his hand, ready to go. All I do is pull the trigger, put it to his friend's head.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Just stupid shit.
Yeah, I was, like, even the other day, one of our neighbors, he has a concealed carry license and he has his own, you know, little compact, I don't remember what brand he said it was, but he has a little compact 9mm. I was just talking with him and, like, I know that if I ever get to a point in my life where I'm gonna, you know, depending on where I live, right, if I ever do get a concealed carry and a pistol, I know exactly how I'm gonna store it, I know exactly how I'm gonna carry it, like, I know everything, like, about what I would do with it, because I have this knowledge. Like, for example, for me personally, now he was talking about how he never carries his gun loaded ever. He has an empty mag in it, he doesn't have one in a chamber, anything. Just he uses it for more intimidation than anything else. Depending on where I live, like if I ever lived in a rich fucking neighborhood, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'd probably do the same. But where I live now in this fucking trailer park, I don't trust any of these motherfuckers. If I concealed carry, probably what I will do is I'll have it on safety at all times, and I'll have a full mag, but I'll never have one in the chamber. Because if you think about it, one of the biggest intimidating things about a gun is the action of somebody who owns it racking it. Just pulling a pistol slide back is usually enough for people to back down from a confrontagious situation. Like, sometimes even pulling your shirt up or whatever, you know, the classic, like, pull your shirt up and show the gun, that's enough. But even if they're still feeling ballsy, usually if you pull that shit and fucking rack it and go, they're done. That's, okay, this person means business, I'm not fucking with them anymore. So the idea of not having one in the chamber, but some in the mag, has that, like, I have to rack it to get one in the chamber anyway. So the idea is, maybe that's enough, and I will never have to take it off of safety. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If it ever came to that, which I hope I never fucking ever get into a situation like that, but it's just, you know, I feel like that's a smart way of looking at it. Now, I'm not gonna tell people how to, you know, use their weapons or whatever, but, like, even so much as transport, right? If I ever end up owning rifles and I want to go to a shooting range, I will never have the ammunition and the rifle in the same parts of the car. I'm gonna have all the ammo and all that shit in the back, and I'm gonna have my rifles in gun cases in the back seat. Just so then that way there's no possible way that anything gets ever mixed up. And if I have passengers in the car or I ever get pulled over, I'll say I have guns in the back, but the ammo's in the trunk. Like, you know, it's like, you gotta keep that safety, man. You gotta make sure that you're very safe with firearms, because if you're not, accidents will happen, you know?
Yeah, be careful with doing stuff like that, though. You absolutely have to pay attention to your local laws, your state laws.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I know in Michigan, it's, it has to be the trunk if you don't have a concealed carry permit. But if you have a concealed carry permit, like I do, you can carry it on you, but it has to be visible at all times in every vehicle.
Yeah, it's just, it's just interesting that, like, there are people who, like, do some whack shit with their guns, and it's just like, how, like,
stupid people.
Like, don't get me wrong, I don't view guns as evil things. I view them like tools. But they are tools of destruction. So you need to make sure that you're, you know, again, you know, don't point a gun at anything unless you have the intent to destroy that thing.
Yep.
And that's very crucial rules that you don't ever, there's very crucial lines you don't ever cross. And there's people out there that own guns that just pick it up and they're like, haha, look bro, I have a gun. And it's like, they don't know anything. And it's just like, bro.
Yep, be very careful you have your guns around.
I like guns. I always say, and Maple has heard me say this many a times, considering we're both into guns and cars. There's two things that the Germans know how to make very well, and that's cars and guns. H&K is Heckler and Koch by far is like my favorite gun manufacturer, and I mean, Mercedes are just beautiful cars. Like, I can't, you know, I'm not gonna, you know,
Yeah,
like a fucking Mercedes GT AMG, shee, you know, or a fucking Porsche, shee, you know, like, they know how to make cars and they know how to make guns, and Heckler and Koch's are some of my favorite weapons. Like, my dream pistol to own one day is a fucking either 45 or 9mm. I'm not really, like, you know, specific on the ammo type. I don't really care. But I want a USP. USPs are so fucking cool, dude. That would be my dream carry as an H&K USP.
Yeah, they have two different ones. There's a 45 and 9mm.
Yeah. How could you go wrong with H&K, man? I mean, the MP5s, like, bro, the HK slap, like, you can't. Fucking the 416s, like, they just make so many good weapons. And then, you know, you have, like, the fucking Porsches and the fucking Mercedes and... Okay. Except the G-Wagon, I will say. Mercedes G-Wagon is a disgusting fucking vehicle. I hate it. But aside from that, you know, a Mercedes GT AMG, beautiful fucking car. What's your? Do you have a favorite like car manufacturer that you like?
Never really thought about it.
Because I have one.
I mean, I like older cars, older muscle style cars. Like back when I was in middle school, me and my dad built from the ground up a '67 Camaro.
Okay, so question: out of the older cars, Charger, Mustang, or Camaro? Camaro. Okay, so that leads me to believe that you're kind of more Chevy leaning then probably. I'm not saying that that's your favorite. I'm just saying like, based upon that question, it's kind of like
it's very car specific, very model specific. So
gotcha.
Like I like the Chevy Camaro. I mean, I like the Mustang. I like the Charger. I like the Challenger. There's a bunch of cars I like. It depends on the year, depends on the model. Because I kind of know a little bit more about both. But
Yeah.
I like the older stuff because you can work on it better.
Yeah, I'm a big brand person. Because I find that typically, at least now, I love cars. I'm not somebody who is necessarily knowledgeable of under the hood stuff. I'm more like cars for their bodywork, the design that goes into a car, and the overall like handling kind of, right? Like what in like I guess just the design of cars is kind of more like what I'm into cars for.
Right.
Like I could give a fuck less if that car is a 4-cylinder and has a max speed of 150, or if it's a fucking V12 and can go 300. I don't give a shit. If the car is designed poorly and looks like ass, I'm not interested in it, right?
Yeah, I'm very much like in the between there. I like design of the car. The car has to look good, but it also has to perform good.
Yeah, and like I know how fucking engines work. Spark plug ignites fuel, the piston compresses it and makes energy, all that shit, right? I understand. But when it comes to the actual details, like what carburetor model is that, and you send me a picture of an engine, and unless it has a fucking badge on it, you say what kind of engine from what car? I won't fucking know. Like I have a basic knowledge, but I'm not gonna know.
I wouldn't know that either.
But
to be honest, but like I can get into like how to tune a car and figure out that stuff.
Yeah, but like if it's not abundant already, if you didn't already know this about me, Shadow and Chat, I'm all in for Daddy Dodge. Dodge is like literally my favorite. Like I can't think of one Dodge vehicle that doesn't have something about it I like or love about it. Like I think it's because they're just very traditional. Like any Dodge vehicle that comes out, you see their lineage in it. And that's, I think, what I like about it. I'm not saying that there's not other cars or companies that do that. Like Ford does that with the Mustang a lot. But other Ford vehicles, like the modern F-150 doesn't look anything like an F-150 from the 90s fucking looked like.
I think I can name a couple Dodges you wouldn't really care for.
Okay.
A Dodge Caliber between the years 2007 and 2012.
Okay, hold on. So you said between 2007 and 2012, so I'm gonna do a 2010 Dodge, what was it?
Caliber. Caliber.
Caliber. Okay, well, what, like...
Want me to keep going? I can find more.
Oh no, I like it.
Really?
Yeah, cause okay, so here's the thing, right? I don't like it like as much as I would like a Challenger or Charger, but I like it because that is a very fucking good looking SUV. To me, that is a very good looking SUV. It still looks like a Dodge vehicle.
That's not an SUV.
What is it meant to be then?
It's a car. It's not an SUV.
It's a car. It's like a hybrid between a fucking sedan. It's
okay. Same year, Dodge Nitro.
It's like a hatchback saloon. is what it
Yeah,
is. So it's
yeah, it's not an SUV. It's
but it's still all right. Like when I look at that, it reminds me of the Magnum, and I like the Dodge Magnum. So
yeah.
okay, what else did you say? The
Nitro.
Nitro. Okay. See that one I can agree on. That one, that's a fucking Kia Soul, bro. Like, nah. But you know what? I like it better than the Kia Soul, though. Because at least, like, it looks like somewhat of a normal vehicle.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of Dodges that you could bring up that I love.
The Monaco, the Omni, the
Monaco. Hold on. Monaco. Just cause they're my favorite doesn't mean I know all their vehicles.
Yeah.
Oh, the Monaco. Oh yeah, that thing's a fucking beautiful boat. That thing's
It's
a
a boat.
beautiful boat. What was the other one you said?
The Omni, OMNI.
Omni. Let's see that.
It's like typical like 80s Monaco.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love that shit. This thing is what the 90s Civic wanted to be but couldn't reach.
Yep.
Love that shit. I'm pretty sure I've seen that fucking Omni in like pretty sure I've seen a version of that car in GTA 4. Yeah. Love that shit. Like,
And then my personal favorite, the Dodge Shadow.
now of course it's your favorite. You know, the Dodge Shadow. All right, let's see this. Dodge Shadow. Oh yeah, that's a cool fucking little car. See, yeah, like, hey, look. That's the 90s Civic, but not the hatchback, but the better version. Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I just like Dodge is such a near and dear car company to me because you can see its lineage in like almost everything it makes.
I mean, every car company is gonna have shitty vehicles.
Yeah, for sure. It's just I find that Dodge has less than others. And by shitty, I mean design-wise. I'm sure that there've been some shitty ones, like, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure Dodge, did they not, like, dominate vans in the 90s, too? Because wasn't the 90s when, like, every transit van that existed kind of all looked the same? And I don't remember if that was originally a GMC design or if it was a Dodge design, but they all kind of looked the same. I do specifically remember that.
I like the Grand Caravan. I think that's like the typical soccer mom van.
Oh my god, dude. Literally, the dream car that I want... It's not my mom's dream car, but it's the dream car I would like to someday, if I'm rich, buy for my mom. The Durango Citadels, oh my god. Those things are like dreams, dude. If you want a big, spacious vehicle for luxury, the Dodge Durango Citadels are nuts. They got the power and the fucking, you know, the luxury behind them. They're great. But no, like, I just really like Dodge. Like, again, recently something that happened that makes me just even more proud to be a Dodge fan. Have you seen their new electric Charger? They're making a new electric Charger, and it's fucking beautiful. People have been roasting the shit out of it for sounding like a hairdryer when it revs, and I understand that. But remember, we're comparing a newer electric Charger that sounds like a hairdryer to a new electric Mustang that sounds like an RC car. Like, the new electric Charger for electric vehicles sounds really fucking mean and good. It sounds really good for an electric car, and I fucking love it.
You want a van that's gonna get you laid? Check out the 98 Dodge Ram Wagon.
The 98 Ram Wagon. 1998 Dodge Ram Wagon.
That'll get you laid.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, hell yes, dude. That's literally the van my dad owns right now. He has like a Mark III.
Nice.
Yeah, it's literally sitting right outside. Yeah, no, it's nice. This is a here.
So somebody comes up to you and says, "Yeah, well, my
I'll
car
show
can do
this."
Like, oh yeah, well I can screw your sister in the back of mine.
Okay, it's not letting me zoom in, but chat, this is the Where is it? This is the this is essentially kind of the van that my dad owns. It's not letting me zoom in for some reason. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I don't know if this is a Mark II or a Mark III, but this is essentially the van that we own in real life right now. It's nice. Even for its age, it's like a 90, yeah, like a 98, like 97. Yeah. Even for its age, this thing is one of the smoothest big vehicle rides I've ever ridden passenger in.
Yep. That one you take out the back seat and throw a bed in.
Yeah, we just have the driver and passenger seat, and there's nothing else in the back of ours.
Oh, nice.
Literally, like, it is the smoothest, like, big van ride I've ever had. Like, my dad had a Chevy van before this one. Wasn't as smooth as this one. Like, I think it's because, honestly, the seats. I think the Dodge van that we have, this van now, I think it has those, like, trucker... And you drive trucks in real life, so you know what I'm talking about. It has, like, those trucker springs in the seat.
We don't have springs in our seats. It's all air ride.
Well, okay. It's, like, similar idea, anyway.
Well, it bounces
where,
up
like,
and down.
Yeah, where, like, it has some give, where if you hit a bump, your seat kind of goes with the inertia, instead of, like, it's nailed to the fucking floor. Both vans had that, but the Dodge one is just so much better to me.
Yeah.
It's
you
just
know, my driver's
so
seat in my truck's air ride. The passenger seat's just bolted to the floor.
Yikes.
Well, it's a day cab. It doesn't have like the bed in the back. It doesn't have a back. It has just like the front seats, and then it's got a wall behind it with a window.
Yeah, okay. Is it only modern truck seats are air ride, or I swear to God, at one point they were like just giant springs, or maybe that's school buses.
Couldn't tell you.
Because I very distinctly remember some larger industrial vehicles having just like a giant spring underneath the seat.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I know every truck I've ever driven has had an air ride seat. But yeah, because it all goes off because trucks they don't use like normal braking systems. They use air brakes.
Mm-hmm.
So like
that I did know.
Yeah, everything in the truck is. It's pretty much like an air ride as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, my dad actually at one point took a little trip to another state to try to get a commercial license to drive, like, you know, big trucks. Mm-hmm. And he told me something along the lines of, like, one of the most dangerous times to fuck around with a truck is, like, after you start it up and you start driving. Because, at least I guess in the trucks that he was being taught to use, they were a bit older, and their air brakes like needed time to fill. And they said like, you need to make sure that you're not like fucking around when you first start up your truck and start going after emptying your air brakes, because they won't be full of air yet.
Yeah, no, you usually sit for a while, let your air pressure build up, and then you take off.
I guess they just never had them sit for training purposes. I guess they just said, all right, you can just turn it on and go. Just let them fill up as you're driving.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can, you should definitely wait to get like 120 PSI and your lines, like everything's aired up and ready to go. Because if you're driving down the road and something happens, your brakes are going to set and you're not going to come free until you let it fill back up. So then you're going to walk everything up.
Yeah, I saw a fucking video of this fucking truck driver. He made a cup of tea. Okay, so it was a video where there was like this little teacup of like water, like hot water. And this truck driver was backing up to a delivery ramp, and the camera was set like on the ground next to the teacup. And he backed it up, and you noticed like as he got closer, he had a tea bag hanging off of his back bumper. and he backed up and positioned it over it, and then when he released the air brakes, it fucking dipped a bit and dropped it into the T. I was like, damn, bro, you didn't have to flex that hard about your backing up positioning skills, man.
Yeah, that's that air ride suspension. So when you release the air from your brakes, you have airbags over your rear shocks, your struts, your leaf springs would be. I mean, you still have like those springs and whatnot, but you still have that air ride. And when you set your brakes, it releases all the air from the trailer, and the trailer will drop like a foot or two. Like a foot, yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm just driving around in Forza right now, thinking of stuff to talk about, and like, I'm not like I've gotten to the point now where I'm not even really paying attention to the road. I'm just kind of driving and like just fucking going fucking up through a field with a Viper. Man, like what the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it's because this Viper in this game fucking turns like ass. I need to like edit it and make it not turn so
wide,
obtusely. Yeah. But yeah.
The brake pedal's a great little tool it's got there.
Okay, listen, buddy. I can brake all I want in this fucking thing. It ain't turning. I have to fucking hit this, make this bitch go sideways if I want to turn at all.
Oof.
But yeah. I don't know. What else has been going on recently? The Queen passed, sadly.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked about that yet, honestly, because like it's not that I don't care, it's just I don't really want to bring it up because I feel like it's a very 50-50 with a lot of people. There's some older British people who like actually really care, and then there's a lot of them that's just like, oh, I don't give a shit.
For me, it's like, yeah, it's sad. Another person died. A good person died, I think. I didn't really pay attention to what she did or, you know, what she accomplished other than her being, you know, the longest living matriarch.
Yeah.
For, you know, I don't even know how long she was queen for. And
yeah,
it's sad and it sucks, but I didn't pay enough attention to it to be like have a you know, good opinion on it, I guess. It's just like, okay.
75 years is what Maple said, yeah.
I don't know, it's just like, I'm sorry. You know? I'm not trying to be like a jerk, but I just
I'm definitely
really... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm definitely in a position where if I knew somebody who was genuinely like tore up about her death, I would help them through whatever they're going through.
Right, yeah,
but me personally, I mean, this is gonna sound really like kind of asshole-ish, but A, that's not really my country.
Yeah.
And B, I do feel sad in a way because that's history.
Yeah.
Like,
for
obviously,
me,
the bloodline will continue and there'll still be royalty, but I feel like a lot of the royal family's power died with her, almost. I don't know why I get that notion, but that's just how it makes me feel.
For me, it's like our country fought to get away from them, so it's not like I don't care, but it's like it doesn't affect me as much as it does, you know, people that affects more, I guess.
Not only that, but like Maple said, it said she passed away, but she did live a long life. Yeah, it's kind of like as horrible as this sounds, I feel like it kind of gets overshadowed by like, yes, it's sad, but there's people way younger dying in way more horrific ways over in like Ukraine right now that it's like, I don't know, it just feels a little overshadowed, you know? It's like all of my sadness and misery and like my feeling horrible for other countries is a little tied up in that right now that it's like I just don't, I don't know, I feel like I'm acting, what I'm saying is like a little bigoted or something, but I don't know, I do feel bad. I feel for the country, for those who are affected, but it's kind of hard to also feel that bad when there's literally British people I'm seeing online or other British content creators that are like, oh yeah, the bitch is dead. And it's like, okay.
I sent you something.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I know that this is the Bleach car that I used in that Bleach video drift montage, but this car is just so good. Like,
Yeah,
what
I
the
see
fuck?
that.
Oh no! No!
Show the people. Show the people.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my jeez Louise, man. Oh no.
Amazing, right?
That's so fucked.
It's amazing, though.
That's so it's funny, but that oh my god. Holy shit.
That's when you start playing We Are the Champions, but quick.
Oh no.
Horizon Arcade will begin soon.
Yeah, but Bleach, I don't think you're that big of an anime person, but I cannot wait. I'm literally like popping figurative boners every time I like think about it. What?
You said I'm not that big of an anime person?
I know that you like anime, and I know that there's some shows that you've watched, but I don't know how like big in terms of like how many you've actually watched, if that makes sense.
How many animes I watched, or how many like of the more notable ones I watched?
Like, you can watch an anime and be super into and about that one anime, but I didn't know if you were like broadly into anime, or if there's just like one or two shows that you watched that you really liked, but you just don't watch it a lot as a whole.
No, there's quite a few that I watch. That
Oh,
I really
okay.
like. And there's quite a few. Like, I mean, everybody who's anybody's watched Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Well,
But then there's Trigun, there's Cowboy Bebop, there's Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, Naruto, Inuyasha.
yeah, because I know that you were into Full Metal, but I didn't know if you like were into Full Metal and that's it, or if you were like super into other shows too. I didn't know.
No, I like a bunch of anime.
See, this is why I also like having my friends on the podcast. I get to learn more about you.
Yeah, I like a bunch of anime. I can't remember the name of it. But there was an anime I used to watch where a guy was using a reverse sword.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it, and I've never watched it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was blunted on the sword on the normal sword edge, and it was sharp on the other side.
It was like a normal katana. It was just kind of flipped, and the curve was flipped. Yeah.
Well, the curve was still the same. It was still the same, and he was using it like you normally would a katana, but the side that was
Well, what I
usually
mean by
sharp
the
was
curve
blunted.
is flipped is that the side with the curve was the dull side, whereas normally the side with the curve is the sharp side.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that anime.
I think his name was Kenshi though, or
Yeah,
something
I
like
don't
that.
remember.
I picture him in my head. He had a scar on his face or something, and he had like red hair. I remember, but I've never watched it. Yeah.
That was good.
But I'm so hyped about. Yeah, I was talking to my mom earlier today about like Bleach vaguely, because it was tied into some whatever conversation we were talking about while we were driving around, and I said about how like there are a few anime that I've talked to her about. Like a lot of times I'll talk about like a video game or whatever, or like for example, if I talk anything WWE to her, she like completely tunes out because she just doesn't give a shit. There's some anime though that I've talked to her about, specifically Bleach, and she's genuinely intrigued about it because she's a very spiritual person. And I've always told her that like Bleach approaches life and death and like the spiritual aspects of, you know, religion and, you know, all that stuff. Like it kind of throws religion to the side. Oh, Maple said it's called Samurai X,
Yeah, I
apparently.
think so. I think he's right.
But Bleach kind of almost throws religion to the side and approaches spirituality in a way that is honestly kind of dope, and I wish is kind of real, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if holds some truth to it. But yeah, I don't know. I always like the anime that have that little bit of like spirituality to it. Or it's not spiritual and it's more like factually accurate and it blends the lines, kind of like an Assassin's Creed type way where it like blends the lines of historical accuracy almost or something as well.
Right. Yeah, no, he's ready with Samurai X.
Yeah. But I don't know. I enjoy that shit, and Bleach has definitely been a universe that I've been invested in a while, and then to finally see the second to last manga arc be adapted into the anime is amazing. Notice how I said second to last, okay? There is an arc after Blood War, okay? And so far as I know, and no, it's not continuing the series indefinitely. It's just like a little side project, I think, that Tite Kubo is working on. And as far as we know, it is entirely 100% canon. So, it's a thing. It's just, you know, not a, it's just like the other day, I watched a Watch Mojo video. Or I was about to watch a Watch Mojo video. And I got like 10 seconds in and it was like, 10 things you need to know about Bleach before the anime comes back, or whatever the fuck. And the first thing was like, number 10, it's the final arc. Like, yeah, it may seem like those of us are keeping up with it, it's a no-brainer, but this is the final arc. There has been no continuations in anime or the manga since this arc, and I'm just like,
Bruh.
bro, is Howl from the Jaws of Hell a joke to you? Like, that's a thing. Like, and it's not like the video was like from 2018 when they first announced Blood War. No, like, it was created literally like a week ago. The video, I mean. Like, are you telling me you didn't even research this shit? Like, yeah, I mean, I guess all of the head other media outlets and as well as the trailers themselves for the anime are saying the final arc, but it's like, it's not really. It's not really, is it? It's not, you know, it used to be, yes, it used to be, like, the end of the Blood War arc used to be the furthest chronological point in the Bleach universe we had. And then Howl from the Jaws of Hell came out, and it shed some more light into these characters and what's going on. And it's just, yeah, no, I'm excited for Howl from the Jaws of Hell because I'll tell you what, I've only read 2 issues of it, and it is, I don't know if there's any more than 2 yet, but I've only read the 2 issues that at the time of reading them were out, and it flipped the entire Bleach universe on its head with some of the lore implications they were giving. I think I'm going to talk about it, so it is technically a spoiler for Howl from the Jaws of Hell. But it's not, I'm not gonna mention anything that's a spoiler for Blood War arc, okay? So there's no Blood War arc spoilers here, it's only a spoiler for some lore implications from the Jaws of Hell arc. So, in the Jaws of Hell arc, which the full arc name is Howl from the Jaws of Hell, I'm just gonna call it Jaws of Hell, so that I don't say the whole fucking title every time. Sailor Zoro, or whoever the fuck you say his name, the pink-haired Arankar comes back. Along with these really weird-looking hollows, and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is Karakura Town being attacked by, like, a shit ton of hollows right now? And he comes back and says, oh yeah, these aren't just any hollows. These are hell hollows, and they're like, whoa, hell hollows, that's crazy. And they're like, yeah, you guys are fucked. And they're like, why are we fucked? Like, what's going on? And he said, so as it turns out, and this is not only him informing them, but also this is now Tite Kubo saying this to the Bleach universe. Apparently, any soul who had obtained a spiritual pressure of a captain rank or higher doesn't get destroyed when they die. They get sent to hell. So that means that anyone, so that means that anyone in Bleach who has died that is captain rank or above is technically in hell right now. Do you understand the implication of that? Ukiura, all of the Arankar that died, like, fucking Gin, Tosin, all those guys are in hell. They're actually not fully dead.
Yep.
Which is like, holy shit.
What about the bounce?
Those aren't manga canon. Those were just an anime filler arc, yeah.
Okay.
But Which kind of sucks, because Muramasa is also a filler character, which, again, really sucks. You know, the bounce, I'm not gonna lie, they're not really, they're not really, you know, they're not really missed now, are they? But it's kind of sad that Muramasa wasn't a real Zanpakuto. That would have been really cool. But, you know, it's just interesting to think about. So, this opens up a really interesting conundrum now. Like, will the Gotei 13 and Ichigo decide we're going to hell to make sure these guys never do anything again? And if they do, what if we get, you know, like, so here's how I'm going to kind of adapt this thought process to the normies, okay? For those of you who have seen the newest Spider-Man film, you know how the villains of the respective, like, Sam Raimi and the Andrew Garfield movies, they got transported to the MCU universe. They were cured of their evil ways, and then they were transported back to their original worlds the second they die, right?
Yep.
So if they didn't die, they would be good guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I'm thinking about Bleach right now, is like, for example, Ukiura, the number 3 Espada, that fucking emo dude with the green tears that every fucking girl got wet for or whatever, right? Ukiura, if you remember correctly, before he died, he didn't necessarily become a good guy, but he realized that fighting Ichigo and, like, working for Aizen was kind of pointless. Like, there's no, like he didn't like it anymore. He realized that he wasn't really, like he liked Orihime. Like, not, like, romantically, but he liked Orihime. He's like, fuck, man, like, if I just had better friends who gave a damn about me, I would probably be a different person. Or a different Arrancar, or a different being. Now we know he's still in hell. Like, Silazoro saying that implies that everybody that Ichigo has ever defeated, captain rank or above, which has pretty much been almost everyone in general he's ever defeated, is still alive in some form or capacity in hell. So that means Ukiura's there. That means Noitara.
Grimjow.
That means Noitara is there. That means Grimjow is there.
Yeah.
So it's like, now what if they go to hell to fight like Grimjow or, you know, all these evil people? But there's some that decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna fight with Ichigo. So imagine we have fucking Ukiura and Ichigo fighting together against, like, Grimjow and Noitara or something. Like, that would be fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that would be fucking awesome. Like, I'm interested to see where the arc goes. That would be, like, absolutely sick. Not to mention, again, no spoilers for Blood War, but we have no clue what the fuck any of Ichigo's powers look like right now. Because, again, not spoiling Blood War, but some shit happens in Blood War that left a lot of fans confused by the end of it. And I'm hoping that Howl from the Jaws of Hell explores more of that, and we actually get answers to, okay, what the fuck are, like, the ins and outs of his powers now?
Yeah,
you know? Like...
I genuinely forgot a lot of Bleach. I've started rewatching it. I just got past the end of where he fought Aizen and beat him.
Oh, so like Don Guy.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. So anything past that, I'm gonna be kind of fuzzy.
Yeah. But yeah, Aizen, I mean, I purposely didn't comment on Aizen because wait until you watch Blood Arc, man. Wait until you watch Blood War Arc, man. But because I have watched obviously all of the anime, and I've obviously watched all of the anime, and I have read Blood War Arc. Like, I read the manga for Blood War Arc. I read it back when there was still rumors about the Blood War Arc anime coming about, and I was like, well, you know, I feel like if there is going to be an anime, this was back in like 2016, 2017, I was like, if there is going to be an anime making a comeback, I want to read Blood War, so that I'm kind of up to date and I know, not necessarily I know what is going to happen going in, but I'm caught up to where the diehard Bleach fan is right now, right? Before this comes out. And even still, I'm not all the way up there because there's a bunch of light novels that were prequels that came out too, but that I'm sorry, I'm not gonna read a book. I'll read a manga, but I don't like really reading books all that much. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Blood War Arc. And even being somebody who has read the Blood War Arc manga, it's not going to be exactly the same, which I'm very happy about. The thing with Blood War, and I've said this time and time again, so I'm essentially repeating myself from other times where I've talked about this, but the Blood War arc for Bleach has always...
Sorry. Fuck that, Mike.
Yeah, right? The Blood War arc for Bleach has always been kind of rushed, because at the time of writing it, there was some falling out between Tite Kubo and Shonen Jump, because Tite Kubo was experiencing some health issues at the time. Tite Kubo included everything he wanted to include into the arc, but a lot of it was rushed. Like, to the point where, like... Again, not trying to spoil anything, but at the end of the arc, the final blow is dealt to the bad guy, and then immediate time skip. Like, there's no follow-up. There's nothing. You know nothing about the aftermath or anything. He just finished it. And so it's like, okay, right. What happened? It seems like, for example, there in the trailer, in the newest Bleach Blood War trailer, there's a character who is seen, like, who seemingly takes the main focus before Ichigo is introduced, and he's, like, running away from Hollows, like, through a building, and the Hollows chasing him and destroying the building as he's running through it or whatever. That character literally showed up for, like, 2 seconds in the manga and was never seen or heard from again. It seems like the majority of the first episode is going to be just about that character, which is good. I'm hoping that a lot of these characters who either make a return or are introduced get more fleshed out and are actually meaningful, as opposed to, oh, hey, here I am for 2 panels, okay, bye. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want more character development for some of these minor characters that didn't really get a spotlight. So I'm excited for the Blood War arc. I want to see what they add to it or what they change. And it's confirmed to be all under the supervision of Tite Kubo. So if they want to expand some story elements, he can just kind of look over the shoulders and go, yeah, this is how this was meant to be. Another thing that's funny, I learned something. There's a YouTuber named Tech King 101, like TEKKING 101. He is like a go-to source of fucking Bleach knowledge. If there's anyone, maybe not recently because he's moved on to like One Piece and other animes, but back in his heyday, if there was ever anyone who could claim to be a walking Bleach encyclopedia, it was that guy. Like, this guy literally remembers each like fucking Hado spell down to their number and Japanese name. Like, this man is nuts, right? He actually informed me recently when he was talking about the new Blood War arc that, you know, in the trailer when you see the first Getsuga Tensho that's yellow that goes and hits that hollow? That is accurate. Okay. Apparently, in the original, like, 2000s anime of Bleach, the one that ran from 2006 to 2012, the entire time, the original Getsuga Tenshos were meant to be yellow, and the Bankai Getsuga was always meant to be black and purple. Like, legitimately, that was how it was meant canonically to be. But for some reason, for the anime studio, Perio changed Getsuga from yellow to blue, and then the Bankai from black and purple to black and red. They just made that change for whatever reason. So, when we see a yellow fucking Getsuga Tensho hit a hollow, and we see that black and purple power from that first trailer, or the Jump Fiesta trailer, that is more accurate than the original anime was, which is crazy to think about.
Right, yeah.
So it's going to be weird getting used to that, especially since that was the way it was always intended, but it's going to be interesting to get used to that.
Yeah. Yeah, all I've known is the black and red.
And I'm kind of hoping that they don't keep the black and purple. Honestly, what I hope they do is they make it black and white, because canonically for the anime it was intended to be black and purple, but canonically in the manga it is just straight black. The only reason why the animation studio ever added a color to the first place is so that you could tell it apart in animation from the background easier.
Right.
So I'm interested to see if they're gonna keep it black and white, or if they're gonna, cause there was the Jump Fiesta trailer where it was black and purple. And then the newest trailer, you see it moving behind Ichigo's head, and it's pretty much almost purely black and white. So it's like, and it's the same shot from where it was black and purple, but now it's just black and white. So it's like, they're obviously doing some color changing bullshit to kind of keep us guessing. But it's interesting to know that the original anime, blue Shikai Getsuga, black and red Bankai Getsuga. Tite Kubo originally told them yellow Shikai, black and purple Bankai, and now it seems like they're sticking with the yellow for Shikai, and they're maybe making it just purely black and white or black and purple for Bankai. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with that. And there's a specific form of Ichigo, again, no spoilers, that is unveiled in the Blood War arc that they have not shown in any trailers, and I'm very glad they haven't. Because for those of us who did not read the Blood War arc, or have seen any artwork from it, or have played Bleach Brave Souls or whatever, for people who don't know, when that new form is revealed, people are gonna shit themselves, dude. And I'm gonna get that nice, you know, hip. I'm gonna get that nice what's the word I'm looking for? Like that like I'm gonna get that like sweet hipster dopamine rush of now you guys see why I was hype about this. Right. You know, or now you guys get to see what I know, and it's even better than what I remember because I know the black and white manga. We're gonna see it in full colored animation, baby. Holy shit. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. That version of Ichigo was also in Jump Force, but I don't know. It's just interesting, like, that they're keeping it out, and I'm glad that they're keeping it out. Like, the only versions of Ichigo we've ever seen, you haven't gotten to yet, but you will, since you told me you just got done with the battle with Aizen. I implore you to keep watching. The beginning of the Fullbring arc is a bit of a drag, but it does pick up, and when it picks up, it is sick. You'll see that all the trailer content for Blood War arc is Fullbring Shikai and Fullbring Bankai, and that is the Ichigo that we've known and loved since the anime originally ended in 2012. And that's the form that they're sticking to for all the trailers, which is good. They're keeping up that continuity. Here we go, baby. I am the queen of fucking bringing things full circle. Just like when the internet leaked Ethan Winters' actual face, or not Konami, who fucking is in charge of Resident Evil? I'm sorry. Capcom. Capcom still keeps his face hidden, even though everyone knows what it looks like. It looks like it's the same thing. Everyone who's played Jump Force or played Bleach Brave Souls or have read the manga, they know what his new form looks like, but they've kept it hidden for the sake of continuity for those who don't know. And that's what I love about it. I love it when companies do that shit. They're like, we know people know, but we're gonna act like they don't and keep the narrative intact, and that's the true worth and value of that.
Yeah,
Similar.
I try to avoid spoilers like that just because I want to be surprised by stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
It's very similar again as well to WWE. Yes, I know the storylines are scripted and the matchup outcomes are scripted, but they still keep to their narratives and they still keep it a surprise because at the end of the day, it's still a surprise.
Yep.
You know, it's like a suspension of disbelief. We know what Ethan Winters' face looks like, but as long as it stays a mystery in the games, it still has that elusiveness, you know?
I don't because I haven't looked it up on purpose.
Oh, Ethan's face?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen it, but it was through like other videos. I think I watched Boundary Break on Resident Evil 7 and they showed his face in that because, or no, it was a Boundary Break of Resident Evil 8.
Okay.
And they showed his face kind of unintentionally because, you know, Boundary Break is a show on is a YouTube series where they put camera mods in video games and show you like kind of the inner workings of the game past what you're meant to see in normal gameplay. And so, like, for example, yes, Ethan's face exists, but technically in the game files, Ethan's face exists, but in gameplay, in those cutscenes, if you were to move the camera around, it does have his fully modeled face, it's just he doesn't have eyeballs rendered. So there just pits into nothingness in his eyes. Because they obviously still have to have that model there because, you know, they can't just for those risque camera shots where you just see like the back end of a cheek. There obviously needs to be something there so that it looks like there's something there.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I can't wait for Bleach, dude. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. It has literally ruined other anime for me.
Yep.
And I feel bad saying that, but like, and I'm not saying that because Bleach is the greatest anime of all time, or that the animation that we've seen in the trailers is the best animation ever. I still think that if you're comparing the latest Bleach trailers to like Demon Slayer's the GOAT. Demon Slayer's animation is fucking sick. But it's ruined other anime for me because it's my favorite anime. Bleach is my favorite anime. I'm so invested in the universe of Bleach. I love the characters more than I've loved any other anime character ever. Like, it's just, like, literally when I was a child, I had a crush on Rukia. Like, bruh, like, you can't get much more personal with a character than that. I mean, nowadays, I don't crush on Rukia, I just like her character design, and I realize that the reason why I crush on her is because she's a very visually well-designed character, and her story is really cool. Like, for example, in Howl from the Jaws of Hell arc, Rukia is literally a boomer. I'm not even kidding you. There's a panel, there's a few pages, like I think it's like 3 or 4 pages in the Howl from the Jaws of Hell arc, where Ichigo and Renji are FaceTiming on a cell phone. And Rukia comes up behind Renji and is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm just talking with Ichigo." And she's like, "You can see each other when you're talking now?" And she's like such a boomer. Like when she goes to the world of the living in the first arc for the first time and she doesn't know how to put a straw into a juice box. Like, oh, dude, it's so good. She's such a fucking treasure. She's awesome. Oh, dude. And I don't want to say this for Shadow's sake, but Maple, if you're still in chat, you know that there's one thing relating to Rukia that I can't wait to see actually animated in animation. I cannot fucking wait, dude. I am waiting to see what they do with that. Because there's obviously the colored manga panels from the Blood War arc, but... bro, seeing that shit animated... oh. And you know what? This is also a good thing because Shadow, if you plan on watching it with us in like the watch party, right? I'm not no living encyclopedia of Bleach knowledge, but I'm there to explain. So obviously I'm not going to pause and explain shit in the episode. But once an episode's over, if you have questions, I could probably answer them. Right, because I know the arc, I know the characters, and I've even read past the Blood War arc into some of the Howl from the Jaws of Hell stuff. So like, I know. So I feel like watching it in the watch party will be useful to people who either haven't kept up with Bleach all this time or have never seen Blood War arc and there's some things about Bleach that they don't understand, or if there's some new stuff that'll be like, so wait, what does that mean, after they reveal something or something, and then I'll be able to, like, you know, explain it if the anime didn't do a good enough job for them explaining it to them for them to understand. So I'm excited. You know, I'm definitely watch partying that shit. My plan is to watch the episodes as they come out in the sub. And then I don't know if we have any confirmation if the dub is coming out with the sub or if... okay, I'm just going to say this right now. If the dub and sub are releasing at the same exact time, we're watching the dub. I'm sorry, we're watching the dub. If they're coming out at the same time. But if they're not coming out at the same time, I'm probably going to watch the sub as it comes out. And then when the dub is released, I'll watch it all in one go. But
I'm gonna call it there though.
All right.
I need to go relax. My fucking head's pounding. I'm still fighting this flu. So
yeah, you go get some rest, man. Thank you for being on. Thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem. Thanks for having me. If you need me again, let me know. I'm here.
Get well soon.
Yep, thanks. Take it easy. See you guys.
Yep. Bye-bye. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, he is gone. Where is the Discord thing? There it is, Discord. Hide that. So that way that's not on the screen anymore because I'm the only one in the call now. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Bleach. I'm excited to see, you know, all that stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. But yeah, I think join live VC. I mean, we can talk, but I'm thinking maybe we cut the after show here. So yeah, I'm excited. So just kind of, I think I'm gonna stop the after show here, but just to bring up, just to kind of loop this back into the main podcast show. I am excited to see, now I don't play the Resident Evil games typically, but I am excited to see if this new third person thing for Resi 8 is then just going to be a constant thing, because I would like to see that be a constant thing. I would like, honestly, I liked Resident Evil 7 and 8, like watching Let's Players play it enough that I've watched for both games 2 different people play it. So like, I think for Resident Evil 7, I watched like FaZe Jev play through it. And then I think I watched like Jacksepticeye or something play through it. And then for Resident Evil 8, I think I watched Jack play through it. And then I think I watched somebody else play through it who I don't remember. I want to say it was like... It's somebody odd that I don't normally watch Let's Plays for. Like Noah J456 or some shit. Like somebody who was like, again, odd. So it'll be nice to watch somebody play through the game. And then... my excuse for watching the other one is and then my excuse for watching the next one would be, oh, this person's playing through it in third person because I watched the first person play through it in first person or whatever. So I have something I need to do that I forgot about, so shoot you DM when I'm free if that works. Yeah, sure. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. The stream will not continue after this, so thank you guys for coming to the bullshit after show. If you're on YouTube and you watched all the way through the after show VOD, thank you so much. Make sure to leave a like and tell me down in the comments down below if you don't give a shit about Bleach, or if the new Bleach you're excited for it, or what have you, or if you're excited for Resident Evil. Again, thank you, Shadow, for being a guest on the podcast this week. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next Monday. Well, Twitch, I'll see you, like, I don't know, fucking tomorrow or the day after. I'll see you the day after tomorrow, probably. I'll see you fucking Wednesday, I'm pretty sure. Right? Is that when the next stream is? Yeah. Chat, I'll see you Wednesday. But everyone on the bullshit channel, I'll see you next Monday. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, and bye-bye.